What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. Check it out. This weekend, it happened. The inevitable crash. The monumental, amazing, incredible, catastrophic crash of Solo. Not another Star Wars story. It happened. Oh my God, it happened. There should be a t-shirt saying, I was there when it happened. Where were you when it happened? As for me, I was certainly not in the movie theater. I can tell you that much. But anyway, everyone is scrambling now and they're trying to pick up the pieces. Okay, so anyway, everyone's trying to figure it out and they're scrambling and everyone's got their own ideas and hypotheses, but they keep dancing around the fan factor. Okay, so I have this article here that I'm going to talk about, and it's in CNN. It's on CNN.com, and it's the most pathetic shit in the world. I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay, and let me get this off my screen first. Then I have to hurry up because I'm helping somebody move. So, okay, here we go. CNN Entertainment. And the worst advice in the world. Here it is. Star Wars should resist bowing to the force of its most vocal fans. Yes, you heard right. Star Wars should resist bowing to the force of its most vocal fans. And it's by a wise man known as Brian Lowry. Brian Lowry. Oh my gosh, here we go. Disney and Lucasfilm are dealing with the first conspicuous setback of their 5-year corporate marriage as Solo, a Star Wars story, has fallen short, far short of gargantuan box office expectations. While the studio ponders whether that requires adjusting course, a small, rebellious, and inordinately vocal quadrant of the fan community is delighting in, yeah boy, and deriving an unfortunate message from those woes. Solo delivered less than $30 million in its second weekend. Aha! Plummeting by nearly 2/3 from its less than stellar opening, bringing its total just shy of $150 million. For a mere mortal movie, that would be just fine, but it's a pallid addition to the Star Wars universe, which has shattered box office records and routinely amassed huge returns. And how did it get those huge returns? Who was giving it those huge returns, huh? That's the question. I'm not going to answer it for you. Use your little brain, Brian. Come on, you can do it, baby. Put on your thinking cap, like my mom used to say. Fasten it up. Put on your thinking cap. Who gave Star Wars those huge returns over the years? I know you can do it, Brian. The subplot to that, and it's an odd one, comes from Star Wars fans who see Solo's underwhelming results as a vindication, a blow against the Disney empire and Lucasfilm chief Kathleen Kennedy, D, reinforced by internet echo chambers. It's like they know. Reinforced by internet echo chambers in the way intense political partisans find like-minded brethren online. They harbor what is almost certainly a magnified vision of their numbers and how widely their passions are shared. Yes, it's all delusion. Brian, let me ask you something. There are a couple of little YouTube channels you might not have heard of. Comic Artist Pro Secrets. Have you looked at his subscriber count? Geeks and Gamers. Have you looked at his subscriber count? World Class Bullshitters. There are so many that are out there right now. And the numbers that they're pulling in, it reflects what? What would you say that's a reflection of? Especially the astronomical growth of these channels. All these people they're attracting. It's just a little minuscule, just a little segment of the population. That's all it is. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to listen to. Go about your business. Go make your money. Not... As Vulture's Chris Lee noted in a piece back in February titled, Why Do Some Star Wars Fans Want the Han Solo Movie to Flop? I actually did a video about that. This subset of the fan base responded negatively, an understatement there, to The Last Jedi, in the most recent Star Wars sequel, and called for a Solo boycott to vent their displeasure. Let's see. By the way, I never called for a boycott. I just want to say that, guys. I never did. All I said was, I'm voting with my wallet, and I understand people who are also voting with their wallets. It's their right. You know what I mean? I don't understand what the big deal is. If people don't like what they see, chances are they're not going to spend any more money on that particular product. That's not unheard of, right? It's to be expected, right? And of course, you wouldn't listen to these people when they decide to close their wallet. Of course not. No, not at all. Okay, let's see what more is here. Part of us wants this film to fail. Joe Vargas, host of the Angry Joe show on YouTube, said at the time, I was thinking maybe if it does bad, Disney will be smarter with how they do these future things. Wrong. One could have only hoped if they were logical. They have also lamented Disney's rapid expansion and strip mining of the galaxy George Lucas created. As writer Danny D. Placido put in a Forbes commentary, Solo is Hollywood at its most cynical, squeezing every last drop of blood from an iconic character. And then he puts in parentheses, disclosure, my wife works for a division of Disney. Oh, Brian, you're trying to get brownie points. Okay, you want to protect that booty. I understand. Listen, I've been married. You know what I'm saying? I was married for the better part of 17 years. So I understand. You know what I mean? If your wife asks you, does she look fat? You would say no. If your wife asks you, do you like Star Wars? You would say yes. I get it. Okay. Okay, where were we? Why does this thing keep scrolling on its own? Within this circle, Kennedy and directors like Last Jedi's round-headed kid, the blockhead himself, Rian Johnson, are accused of spoiling Star Wars and, not uncommonly, ruining my childhood. Never mind that Solo is actually pretty good, or that Lucas, with the name Jar Jar Binks alone, made his own contributions to marring their young adulthood. Listen, what Lucas did with the prequels was he misfired on a couple of different fronts. For the most part, I never had a major problem with the prequels. I mean, yes, Jar Jar was annoying, and what's his name, Hayden Christensen, his acting was wooden in some places. But to me, it was George Lucas's vision, and I am cool with that. I thought that he did a pretty decent job of it. There were actually certain points of the prequels that I feel were classics. And no matter what you have to say about it, at least he drew a complete picture of what he was trying to do, unlike what's going on with these so-called sequel trilogies. Let's see. I hate the way this thing just keeps on scrolling on its own. All right. Where is it? When the blood starts to boil, sobriety and perspective tend to be early casualties. As Vulture noted, there's no real way to quantify how vast this portion of the Star Wars fan universe is. Indeed, with so many moving parts and variables to consider, it's difficult to grasp any clear message yet from Solo's underperformance, which of course hasn't deterred the deluge of web traffic-driven hot takes trying to do just that. Excuse me, guys. Disney Lucasfilm, meanwhile, have little incentive to do anything but be respectful in addressing their most faithful consumers, as they've been doing, right? By calling everybody racist, fanboy, overweight white guys who are threatened by womanhood, and racist. That's what you call being respectful, right? Oh, fuck you. Listen, I'm trying not to curse, guys, because it's something that I noticed, with the feedback. A lot of people respect the fact that I kind of toned down the cursing and shit, but this is something that, this is just utter bullshit. So Disney, meanwhile, have little incentive to do anything but be respectful in addressing their most faithful consumers, since having people feel desperately invested in your product to the point of claiming a kind of ownership stake in it is the definition of a high-class problem. That said, there's a slightly delusional quality to the victory lap being taken in comment sections and online forums, an assumption that these fans have made a statement that will only further embolden such demands. Okay, all right. It's certainly possible that disappointment surrounding The Last Jedi, a sentiment incidentally largely shared by this reviewer, triggered a backlash that played a major role in Solo's weak opening. But it's beyond naive to think that a subsection of the fans can dictate Disney's broader strategy, since the studio didn't plunk down $4 billion for Lucasfilm to let it sit idle, or allow a small mob of internet pitchforks to call the shots. A small mob of internet pitchforks. We're fans. You dumb fuck. Now, I'm sorry. I told you guys I was going to try to calm it down, okay? But how much can you take? This is the reason why the situation is what it is. Because you want to keep belittling the fans. How dare you? A small mob? What the hell is this? The Taliban? We're fans. And not only are we fans, but a lot of us are lifelong fans. We put down more money in this than some people invest in small businesses. And you think we shouldn't be heard, right? That's what you're saying. Okay, you keep that frame of mind. You keep thinking that episode 9 is gonna burn, man. There will be blood, do you hear me? I will bathe in it like Carrie. And they're all gonna laugh at you. All right, where are we? Come on back, baby. As politicians have discovered, there are trade-offs involved in allowing the loudest and most belligerent voices, I guess that's kind of me right now, those prone to speaking in Sith-like absolutes, to divine the terms of debate. Hearing and being sensitive to what various fans want makes sense, but bowing to the force of a vocal contingent, one that's perhaps a small minority, is a road fraught with peril. As Han Solo himself once said, it's not always possible to fly by committee. Okay, that's the end of that article. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because it just brings it home how much further we have to go, guys. All right? The fans are the ones that ultimately determine what's going to happen with this franchise. Now, to the fans who have been in the comment section saying things like, we're destroying Star Wars and things like that, look, there's a lot of money to be made off of Star Wars. Whether Disney makes it or somebody else makes it, somebody will, okay? And in doing so, someone will get the bright idea that it might be beneficial to consider what the fans want. Listen, guys, if you want to call those of us who are critical of Disney Lucasfilm a pitiful minority, then you're going to have to come up with some other ideas on why Solo did what it did. And it wasn't fatigue. Okay, guys, cut it out. It wasn't fatigue. It wasn't people being tired of a white male lead. You know, all of that is bullshit. You got to come up with something better than that. You know, and if it isn't the fans that's a factor in this, then I'd like to know what it is. I'd like to know what it is so you guys stop coming in here and blaming it on us. You can't have it both ways, guys. You know, if you come in here, you know, talking about, oh, you spoiled fanboys, you need to shut the fuck up. What's wrong with you? You're not making a difference. Fine. Well, you tell me what it is then. You know, if it's not the fans, you know, if it's not people who are disenfranchised, if it's not people who feel like they haven't been heard, if it's not people who are not happy with the direction that Disney Lucasfilm is going, what is it? You know, please let me know. You know, please tell me why Disney Lucasfilm is the only company on the face of the planet Earth that doesn't have to consider what their clientele is saying. You know, because any smart businessman, and I never took a business course in my life in school, but tell me why they would be the only business on the planet Earth that doesn't have to consider what their fans want and what their most loyal fans are saying. I'm open. I'm open to whatever it is that you have to say. Have at it in the comment section. That's it for now, guys. I will see you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.